The evening breeze carried the sound of Christian fellowship songs across the campus as Chioma sat on the concrete bench outside her hostel, pretending to read her mass communication textbook. In truth, her eyes kept straying to her phone, waiting for another message from Babatunde. "Babe, you done fall for senior student already?" Amara's teasing voice made her jump. Her roommate plopped down beside her, unwrapping a stick of suya. "I dey observe you since morning oh. That textbook don't suffer enough." Chioma rolled her eyes but couldn't hide her smile. "Amara, a beg shift. Who talk say I like anybody? You no need talk day your face like noonday sun." Before Chioma could protest further, her phone buzzed. Both girls looked down at the screen. "Good evening, sunshine. Hope you're not studying too hard. Can I take you to Sweet Sensation tomorrow after your 2 p.m. class? Babatunde." "Chai. See as your face don't light up like Nipa just restore light," Amara exclaimed, laughing. "But wait first." Her expression grew serious. "You know say this your Babatunde get history for this campus?" Chioma's heart skipped. "What kind history?" Meanwhile, in room 112 of Mandela Hall, Hassan was going through his girlfriend's phone while she was in the bathroom. He hadn't meant to snoop, but Aisha had been acting strange lately, always guarding her phone like it contained state secrets. His hands trembled as he read through her chat with Emeka. "Emeka, baby girl, I no fit stop thinking about you Aisha, you're going to put me in trouble Emeka, make we run away together after graduation Aisha, you're crazy. Face with tears of joy Emeka, crazy for you. Meet me for Engineering Park by 7 p.m. The timestamp showed this exchange happened yesterday. Hassan felt his world spinning. The bathroom door clicked open. "Baby, why you dey look my phone?" Across campus, in the staff quarters, Dr. Folashade sat in her living room with her colleague, Professor Babajid. The elderly professor had been teaching at Felicia University for 30 years and had seen his fair share of campus drama, but even he was concerned about the current situation. "Doctor, this matter requires delicate handling," he said, sipping his zobo. "That boy Babatunde, his father is on the university board. And you know what happened last semester with the VC's daughter?" "Sir, that's exactly why I'm worried," Dr. Folashade replied. "Obinna came to me because he knows the truth about what really happened to Grace. But if we speak up now..." Their conversation was interrupted by frantic knocking. When Dr. Folashade opened the door, she found Obinna standing there, out of breath. "Ma. They've called an emergency SUG meeting. Someone leaked the photos." Back at the female hostel, Amara was just finishing telling Chioma about Babatunde's past when they heard screaming from the floor above. They rushed upstairs to find a crowd gathering around room 310. Inside, Aisha was throwing Hassan's gifts out the window while crying uncontrollably. "You dey check my phone? After everything? You no trust me? Trust you?" Hassan's voice was deadly quiet. "How I go trust you when you dey meet another man for night?" The crowd of students watching grew larger, phones recording the drama. Among them was Emeka, a small smile playing on his lips as he typed a message, "Phase 1 complete. Time for Phase 2. But the message never sent. Because at that moment, someone grabbed his phone from behind. "I think we need to talk, brother." It was Babatunde and his eyes held no warmth. In the chaos that followed, no one noticed Chioma slipping away, tears streaming down her face. No one except Amara, who watched her friend's retreating figure with growing concern. She picked up her phone and dialed a number she'd hoped never to use again. "Uncle Danladi? Remember that favor you owe me? I need information about someone. His name is Babatunde Denjuma." The night was still young at Felicia University, and secrets were about to spill like palm wine from a broken gourd. In the distance, thunder rolled, promising a storm that would wash away more than just dust. Dr. Folashade stared at the photos Obinna had brought, her hand trembling slightly. "My God," she whispered. "If these get out." "That's not all, Ma," Obinna said, pulling out one final photo. "Look who's in the background." The professor's eyes widened. There, barely visible but unmistakable, was Chioma, 3 months before she'd even gained admission to Felicia University. "How is this possible?" Dr. Folashade asked. But they all knew the answer would shake the very foundations of Felicia University. In his hostel room, Babatunde sat alone, staring at an old photo on his phone. It showed him, Hassan, and a girl whose face had been scratched out. The date stamp read February 14, 2023, exactly 1 year before Grace disappeared. His phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "I know what you did last Valentine's. Better leave Chioma alone, or everyone will know too." For the first time in years, Babatunde felt fear. Real fear. Because only one person could have sent that message. And that person was supposed to be dead. The morning after the hostel drama, Felicia campus was buzzing like Onitsha market on a Saturday. Students huddled in small groups, their voices mixing with the sound of early morning rain as they discussed what had happened between Hassan and Aisha. "Na wa-oh. I hear say the guy catch red-handed with Emeka. No be so. Na phone chat the guy see. My sister for chemical engineering say na love charm Emeka use for Aisha." But in room 205 of Queen Amina Hall, Chioma lay on her bed, last night's tears dried on her pillow. Her phone showed 47 missed calls from Babatunde. She had switched it to silent after the 10th call, her mind replaying Amara's words about his past. "Chi baby, you need to eat something," Amara said, placing a bowl of hot indomie on Chioma's reading table. "This thing way happen, get as be." Chioma sat up slowly, her braids a mess. "Amara, tell me everything you know about Grace." Her roommate's face darkened. "That story no be for morning time oh." Meanwhile, in the male hostel, Hassan sat on his bed, staring at nothing. His room was a mess, torn pictures of him and Aisha littered the floor like confetti from a forgotten party. His course mate, Yusuf, knocked on the open door. "Guy, you know go attend class today." "Which class?" Hassan laughed bitterly. "Make I go sit for same room with that betrayer Emeka?" But Emeka had his own problems. He sat in Dr. Folashade's office, his usual confidence replaced by genuine fear. "So, young man," the lecturer said, sliding the mysterious photos across her desk. "You want to explain how your face appeared in these pictures with Grace? The same Grace who disappeared last year?" Before Emeka could answer, his phone buzzed. The message made his blood run cold. "Meet me at the abandoned Faculty of Engineering building. 3 p.m. Come alone." "Okay." At the campus cafeteria, Aisha sat alone, picking at her jollof rice. She had cried all her tears, but the pain in her chest wouldn't go away. A shadow fell across her table. "This seat taken?" She looked up to see Obinna standing there, holding his own tray. Something about his kind eyes made her want to tell him everything. "Obinna, you be friends with Babatunde, abi?" He set his tray down carefully. "I used to be. Until I found out what really happened to Grace." Back in Queen Amina Hall, Amara finally began telling Chioma the story of Grace and Babatunde. With each word, Chioma felt her heart breaking all over again. Grace was the VC's daughter. Beautiful girl, a brilliant student. She and Babatunde were the perfect couple, like those people day Instagram with hashtag relationship goals. What happened to her? Chioma whispered. Nobody knows for sure. But the night she disappeared. Amara hesitated. She was supposed to meet Babatunde at the engineering building. Her last text to her friend was, "I finally have proof." He can't deny it anymore. Thunder rolled outside as if nature itself was participating in the storytelling. Amara continued. 3 days later, they found her phone in the school farm. The only thing on it was a video, but nobody knows what was in that video because the phone mysteriously disappeared from the security office that same night. Chioma's phone buzzed again. This time it was a message from an unknown number. I know you're asking about Grace. Meet me at the old library. Come alone. I'll tell you everything. G. Across campus, Babatunde paced in his room, his mind racing. The walls felt like they were closing in. His phone contained dozens of drafted messages to Chioma, none sent. I can explain everything. What they're saying isn't true. You don't understand what really happened. I did it for us. A knock on his door made him jump. It was Hassan, his eyes red from lack of sleep. Guy, I need your help. But first, you need to tell me the truth about Grace. In Dr. Folashaide's office, the doctor was on the phone with Professor Babajid. The game has changed, sir. Someone is playing all of us. These photos, they tell a different story. Grace didn't just disappear. She was. The line went dead. The power in her office went out. When she looked up, a figure stood in her doorway. Good afternoon, doctor. I believe you have something that belongs to me. At the campus gate, a taxi pulled up. A girl stepped out, her face hidden under a hood despite the rain. She paid the driver and walked towards the old library, her movements purposeful. In her hand was a phone, not her phone, but Grace's phone. And on it was the video that would change everything. Back in her room, Chioma made a decision. She picked up her phone and finally replied to Babatunde, meet me at 4 p.m. Same place you first helped me with my bags. It's time for the truth. What she didn't know was that 5 other people had also arranged meetings for that same afternoon. And as the rain continued to fall on Felicia's campus, fate was drawing them all towards a collision course that would expose secrets buried deeper than the foundations of the university itself. Amara watched her friend prepare to leave, then made a call of her own. Uncle Dunladi? Remember that thing you found out about Babatunde? I think it's time. Release the information. Release everything. The storm clouds grew darker over Felicia University campus, promising a rain that would wash away more than just secrets. In the distance, the abandoned engineering building stood like a silent witness, waiting for the drama about to unfold within its walls. And somewhere, in a small internet cafe just outside campus, someone was uploading a video titled, The Truth About Grace, Felicia University's Darkest Secret. The upload bar reached 99%. The rain had intensified by 3:45 p.m., turning Felicia University's red soil paths into small rivers. Students rushed for shelter, but 5 people walked purposefully through the downpour, each headed to different locations, each carrying secrets heavy enough to drown in. Inside her office, Dr. Folashaide stared at the figure in her doorway, her heart pounding. Lightning flashed, illuminating the face of her visitor. Grace. The hooded figure stepped into the office, pulling back her hood. But it wasn't Grace. It was her younger sister, Gloria. Where is the phone, doctor? Where is my sister's phone? Meanwhile, at the engineering building, Emeka arrived early, his designer white kaftan already soaked. The abandoned structure loomed before him like a monster from childhood nightmares. His phone buzzed with a notification, video upload complete, the truth about Grace, Felicia University's darkest secret. I been no say you go show up early. Emeka spun around. Babatunde emerged from the shadows, but he wasn't alone. Hassan stood beside him, eyes blazing with a mixture of pain and fury. You think say you fit play game with people life? Hassan asked, cracking his knuckles. First my Aisha, now this video. But before anyone could move, another voice cut through the tension, nobody should move. It was Uncle Dunladi, the university's chief security officer. Behind him stood Amara, her face a mask of determination. "Oga Damladi, wedden be this?" Emeka stammered. "Shut up." Amara stepped forward. "Show them, uncle." Uncle Damladi pulled out his phone and played a voice recording. It was Grace's voice, from 1 year ago. "If you're hearing this, something has happened to me. The video they're all fighting over. It's not what they think. Babatunde didn't hurt me. He was protecting me. The real monster is." The recording cut off abruptly as screams erupted from across campus. At the old library, Chioma waited under the leaking roof. Her phone showed 4:05 p.m. Babtund was late. A movement caught her eye. Someone was already inside the library, watching her through the dusty windows. Her phone buzzed. "Unknown number, the truth isn't in the video. It's in what happened after. Come inside. Now." With trembling hands, Chioma pushed open the heavy wooden door. The musty smell of old books hit her as she entered. Water dripped somewhere in the darkness. "Hello? You really want to know what happened to Grace?" The voice came from behind the circulation desk. A figure stood up slowly. It was Aisha. But you're supposed to be in my hostel crying over Hassan." Aisha laughed bitterly. "Chioma, you sweet innocent fresher. You think this is about love triangle? About jealousy? This is about power. About money. About the dark things some people will do to protect their family name." She pulled out a laptop and opened it. The screen illuminated her face with an eerie glow. "Watch this. And try not to scream." Back at the engineering building, the confrontation had turned physical. Hassan had Emeka pinned against the wall while Babatunde tried to separate them. Uncle Damladi's whistle cut through the chaos. "All of you, stop. You don't understand. The real video, the one that Grace made? It's not about any of you. It's about..." A gunshot rang out. Everyone froze. At that exact moment, in Dr. Folashaide's office, Gloria was watching something on the professor's computer, her face growing paler by the second. "Jesus Christ," she whispered. "So this is why they killed my sister." Dr. Folashaide nodded grimly. "Your sister discovered something bigger than all of us. Something that goes all the way to..." The power went out again. When it came back seconds later, Gloria was gone. And on the professor's computer screen was a message: "The truth dies with us. Board of Trustees." In the library, Chioma stared at Aisha's laptop screen in horror. The video showed Grace, very much alive, in what looked like a hotel room. She was arguing with someone off camera. "You can't keep doing this. These are people's lives you're playing with. The whole school is built on blood money." The unseen person replied, "Grace, Grace, Grace. You're just like your mother. Always wanting to save the world. Look where that got her." Suddenly, the library door burst open. Babatunde stood there, drenched and breathing heavily. "Chioma, don't watch that. It's not what you..." "It's exactly what she thinks," came another voice. Professor Babajid stepped out of the shadows, holding something that glinted metallically in the dim light. "And now, all of you know too much." Thunder crashed outside as multiple revelations collided. Aisha's phone pinged with a message from Emeka: "Shot fired. Hassan down. Run." Dr. Folashaide's computer received an email with Grace's complete video. Uncle Damladi's voice recording continued playing, revealing names that shook the foundation of Felicia University. And most shockingly, Chioma's phone displayed a live video call, from Grace herself. The rain continued to pour, but now it was washing away layers of lies, revealing a truth more terrible than anyone had imagined, because Felicia University's darkest secret wasn't about love or betrayal. It was about the true purpose of Felicia University, and why some students who discovered it had to disappear. The chaos at Felicia University had reached its peak. The rain fell in sheets as ambulance sirens wailed in the distance, heading towards the engineering building. Students gathered in clusters under awnings, their phones lighting up with breaking news. Breaking, gunshot reported at Felicia University engineering block trending, #Felicia. University scandal #Justice for Grace viral, mystery video exposes dark secrets of the newest private university. In the old library, time seemed to freeze as Chioma stared at her phone screen. Grace's face, older, tired, but very much alive, looked back at her. "I'm sorry you got dragged into this, Chioma," Grace said, her voice crackling through the speaker. "But they killed my mother when she found out, and I couldn't let them do it again." Professor Babajeed's hand trembled slightly, the gun still pointed at them. "Grace, you foolish girl. Even now, you still don't understand what's at stake." "I understand everything, Uncle," Grace's voice was steel. "I understand that Felicia University isn't just a university. It's a front. Every student here is." The video call cut off abruptly. At the engineering building, Hassan lay on the wet ground, blood mixing with rainwater. But the bullet had only grazed his shoulder. Emeka stood frozen, the smoking gun dropped at his feet, his face a mask of shock. I didn't mean to," he stammered. Uncle Dunladi had him in handcuffs while Amara pressed a cloth against Hassan's wound. But Babatunde wasn't looking at any of them. His eyes were fixed on his phone, where Grace's interrupted video call had revealed something in the background, a familiar painting. One he'd seen just yesterday. "Holy Christ," he whispered. "She's in the VC's guest house." Meanwhile, in Dr. Folashaide's office, the professor was frantically copying files from her computer to a flash drive. Her phone buzzed with a message from Professor Babajeed, "I have the girls. Clean your office. Burn everything." Her fingers paused over the keyboard. 20 years of teaching, of building a reputation, of believing she was helping young people. All of it a carefully constructed lie. She reached for her phone and dialed a number she'd sworn never to use. "Inspector?" "Yes, it's me." The children were right. Felicia University is a money laundering operation. The students, their school fees, everything goes into. A sharp knock cut her off. "Doctor?" It was the VC's voice. "We need to talk." Back in the library, Aisha had managed to slip behind a bookshelf while Professor Babajeed focused on Chioma. Her trembling fingers typed a message to Hassan, "Baby, if you see this. The money laundering is just the beginning. The real secret is in the scholarship program. Why they really choose students from specific families." She pressed send just as heavy footsteps approached her hiding spot. Across campus, in the university clinic, Hassan's phone buzzed with Aisha's message. He read it through pain-blurred eyes, finally understanding why he, a poor boy from Kaduna, had received a miracle scholarship to Felicia University. "Nurse," he called out. "I need to make a call." But the nurse who approached wasn't wearing the usual clinic uniform. And the syringe in her hand definitely wasn't filled with pain medication. "Rest now, Mr. Hassan. Just rest." In the VC's guest house, Grace sat surrounded by screens showing different parts of the campus. She watched as all her careful plans began to unravel. A door opened behind her. "It's time to end this, my daughter." She turned to face her father, the vice-chancellor of Felicia University. "Tell me one thing, Daddy," she said quietly. "Did you give the order to kill Mama too?" At the engineering building, Babatunde made a decision. As the ambulance paramedics worked on Hassan, he pulled Amara aside. "I know where Grace is. But I can't get there alone." Amara studied his face for a long moment. "The last time somebody trusted you." "The last time," he cut in, "I was trying to protect Grace." Everything I did, the lies, the secrets, it was to keep her alive. But now. He showed her his phone screen. It displayed a bank statement with numbers that made her gasp. Jesus! All this money is nothing compared to what they're really doing, he finished. Call Uncle Dunloddy. We need his help. Lightning flashed again as the pieces began falling into place. The mysterious scholarships. The constant construction projects. The missing students. The overseas exchange programs that students never returned from. And most importantly, the real reason why Felicia University had been built in the first place. In the library, Professor Babajid's phone rang. The momentary distraction was all Chioma needed. She grabbed Aisha's laptop and ran, her heart pounding as bullets splintered the wooden shelves around her. Stop that girl, the professor roared. But Aisha appeared from nowhere, knocking over a shelf of books that crashed down, blocking the pursuit. Outside, the rain had finally stopped. But a different kind of storm was building as police sirens joined the ambulance wails. Students' phones buzzed with an urgent message, all students to return to hostels immediately. Emergency lockdown in effect. But it was too late. The truth about Felicia University was already spreading, carried by hundreds of WhatsApp messages, tweets, and Instagram stories. Dr. Folashade faced the VC across her desk, her finger hovering over the send button that would deliver all the evidence to the police. You know what this will do to these children's futures? The VC asked quietly. I know what you've already done to their futures, she replied, and pressed send. In the clinic, Hassan managed to fight off the fake nurse just as Babatunda and Uncle Dunloddy burst in. The syringe clattered to the floor, its contents spilling out, not medicine, but something far more sinister. And in the VC's guest house, Grace stood her ground as her father approached. No, Daddy, she said firmly. This time, the truth comes out. All of it. About the money, about Mama, about what really happens to the scholarship students. She pressed a button on her computer, and every screen on campus, from phones to laptops to the big display in the school cafeteria, began playing the same video. The video that would expose Felicia University's darkest secret, and change government's higher education forever.